subject of this session is simply smart lighting, and we'll be discussing basically the wireless market penetration in smart lighting, and in particular, what are the ingredients that can help boost the adoption of wireless into smart lighting, and then what are the traditional challenges that need to be resolved. Also, how we should prepare the ground for new building services attached to lighting network. So today with us, we have the honor to have Peter from Signify. So Peter, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for opening up, Youssef. I look forward to the session. My name is Peter Duinen. I work for Signify, the company that is formerly known as Philips Lighting. And I'm a product manager busy with making connected lighting land into professional applications. So you may have learned about connected lighting from Signify in consumer applications like Hue. I'm responsible for connected lighting in professional applications like outdoor lighting or lighting for hospitals. And there, obviously, tracking assets is going to be a very important avenue for connected lighting, and that's the reason why I'm here in the Wirepas GO event.
Thank you very much, Peter, for being with us. And we also have Michael from Zumtobel. Michael, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, greetings to all. This is Michael Angelov, almost like Michelangelo of this connected discussion. I joined Zumtobel a bit more than 1 year ago, coming from experience in wireless networking. So I worked with Nokia before, and I joined Zumtobel as one of the companies and actually leading into the indoor light business, as I truly believe that lighting is the best place to anchor and to install any wireless networking communication, as it's the best place inside the building. It has the power connectivity and it has the best people to actually put it in place. So definitely the lighting infrastructure is the greatest enablement for different type of so-called Internet of Things, or you can just call them optimization and new service enablement use cases that you could have. And as such, I'm helping and driving Zumtobel, the product management stream for connecting and using all these technologies to create additional use cases beyond the lighting. So I think this panel is about lighting, but we all agree that the actual disruption and the new opportunities is everything else that we can anchor and we can actually support with our light infrastructure. I mean, the whole ecosystem now that we represent as an action enabling for different type of use cases. So as such, thank you again, Youssef, for actually hosting us and for Wirepas having this event. I do believe that we need an industry discussion of how to make this interoperable and not to have islands of little business, but to have a huge continent of joint business, and looking forward for this discussion. So thank you.
Music to my ears, Michael. Thank you very much. Tuomo, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you. So hi, my name is Tuomo Mörsky, and I'm heading the product development at Helvar's Lighting Essentials business unit. And my team is developing LED drivers and other components used in modern luminaires. And our target is that at some time frame, pretty much all lighting is going to be wireless. And we have developed products for that which are Wirepas compatible. And that's the reason I'm here today.
Thank you, Tuomo. Bastian, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Bastian de Groot. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ingy. We provide basically two propositions to the market. One is we provide lighting companies with a straight out of the box, fully operational lighting control system based on Wirepas, which we supply to both Danlers and Helvar on this call, and a range of other lighting companies around the world. And secondly, we help a wide range of businesses that are looking to roll out Wirepas based solutions into their smart building by creating a Wirepas backbone using the lighting and integrating a wide variety of Wirepas ecosystem and partners into that solution. So they have one unified Wirepas solution for the smart building, all based on the backbone of lighting.
Thank you, Bastian. Kevin?
Oh, thank you, Yusuf. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yeah, name's Kevin Johnstone, COO of Danlers Ltd. It's a UK-based family-owned company. I've been working for them for 20 years. Don't look it, but I have. We design and manufacture lighting control predominantly, and about 4 years ago, we could see that there was a change in the need for lighting to provide more than just lighting, and it's a good infrastructure that's in every building that can be optimized for asset tracking, for data capture, and we just feel that that is the way forward for the lighting industry. And our objective is to sort of to support that by doing the devices sensor based to allow the integration into various systems. That's me.
Thank you, Kevin. So what I suggest is I will open up with a couple of questions for each of you, and we'll open up with really looking into the wireless market itself and how you see the adoption of wireless versus wired. So maybe a very simple question. What is your view on the wireless lighting control market today? Maybe we'll start with Michael from Zumtobel.
Yes, so as I would say very engineering company, Zumtobel has been creating and supporting the wired communication for lighting control over the years. And this is definitely, we could say, even enough. I mean, the DALI standards and the evolution of that for pure lighting application and control. So what we see is that in all the projects, actually new projects, the incremental cost of adding a couple of more DALI lines is more than enough to serve the light automation and control use cases. So if you just have that in mind, building developers would be happy with what DALI light and control can provide. So the market per se is not driven by the requirements of the light control in the wireless space, but is driven by all the additional use cases that the wireless enable. So I think this is I'll stop here and
thank you.
What you think about it.
Yeah, let's hear Peter's view about the subject.
Yeah, I fully agree with Michael. The lighting use cases are quite easy to create with DALI, and wireless is just there because it offers more use cases, of which one of them, of course, is the flexibility to change perhaps the layout of your building in a much easier way as you would be able to do with wired control. So wired control is currently quite well understood and penetrated, but the flexibility of wireless will certainly change that. And another thing that Michael already correctly said, that the wireless will open up more applications than just dim up, dim down, that DALI can do so well. That people will be attracted by it, but at this moment in time, wired is still bigger than wireless.
Right. Well, yeah, we see exactly the same trend, Peter. Thank you very much. Maybe Tuomo, would you like, because I know that you are very much focusing now your strategy on wireless. Tuomo, how do you see things evolving?
Well, if I looked at from our customers' perspective, from luminaire manufacturers themselves, we see that the market for wireless lighting control is still fairly immature, and that is varying from market to market. So the adaptation of wireless is very, or it's very well adapted here, maybe in Scandinavia, for example, but there are still countries in the middle of Europe, for example, or Central Europe, where adaptation isn't that high. But definitely what we see is that this is a really fast growing market, and we've been in this field for almost 5 years now, and we can really see that now there are some really big things happening, and of course this kind of partnerships like which Wirepas is creating, those are really boosting the market.
Yeah, thank you, Tuomo. Bastian, would you like to add anything on the subject?
Yeah, I mean, a lot is being said. I think an angle that I would like to add is that the wireless market has been penetrating the market in a relatively limited subsection of the market, right? So we're seeing huge issues with scalability. So the number of solutions that really can cover large-scale rollouts of thousands of nodes in one network and can cooperate together is very limited. And I think that's one of the key drivers for Wirepas in this market, for us to choose Wirepas. And the second is, yes, a lot of people have great ideas about the additional use cases that wireless will bring. But that sounds great on paper, but you then need a wireless infrastructure that can actually support these.
Yeah.
And again, there I see a huge disconnect between sometimes the marketing and the technical department, where marketing thinks wireless is wireless, and wireless, every wireless technology can do the same. And only deep technically people start to understand now that in order to make these great dream cases about asset tracking and all these sensor data going over the wireless network, you actually need a wireless network that supports it. And that's what's really holding the market up, right? Lots of people have been dreaming about these things, but all based on wireless technology that can't handle.
Yeah.
dreams.
So do you see, of course, the fact that now we have a much higher reliability system, and of course in the office space, for example, which is very much kind of requiring the flexibility to change spaces, adapt them, change groups, etc. Do you see that as a driver? And then the other question I have is that when do you see the bill of material cost of a wireless system to be kind of crossing over the daily cost? Peter, do you see that coming?
Oh, that's coming. That's coming already. So the crossover to wireless will indeed perhaps start with the flexibility that you mentioned, and it will subsequently be followed by the cost being equal. And it's just a matter of creating the mass volume for Signify, for Philips. The mass volume today is definitely in the consumer space, where we have a lot of connectivity already in the homes of the people. If you make a large volume, the cost will go down. And that tipping point, that crossover is happening as we speak. But I do succumb to the view of Bastian from Ingy that maybe some wireless installations may have been a bit underperforming in terms of performance for these extra use cases. So like Michael explained from Zumtobel, the normal use cases can be covered by DALI in a good way, dim up, dim down. The normal connectivity that we have for Philips Hue can also be used in a professional building, dim up, dim down. That is no problem, and you get the flexibility. But these extra use cases, I think, indeed require a better network infrastructure. And that's currently where I think a lot of people are investigating the use of Wirepas.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And obviously that's clearly the focus of what we do, is about really ensuring the reliability at scale and, of course, allowing the throughput for IoT applications. Michael, would you like to add anything about this bill of material crossover point? Where do you see, or when do you see that happening? It looks like Peter is really seeing this now.
Yeah, allow me to have a bit of a still external perspective over this wireless ecosystem. And the external comes from the story that I've been dealing with a lot of cloud services and cloud marketplaces before. And the story reminds me a lot of the discussion that other industries had in the past. Should we adopt cloud or not? I mean, 10 years ago, it was a story. Well, we need to have our own data centers and we can bring it and we don't need cloud services and technologies. Same as the story now. Do we need wireless or not? And when does the crossover point with with wired comes into the discussion? It's not this discussion actually, because once you adopt a disruptive technology which enable massive scale and the relevant connectivity requirements such as latency and reliability, and you start to create services with this enablement in mind. Analogous when you create cloud applications, you don't start with the software, but we start with the limitation that the infrastructure provides. Then the scale becomes completely different. Then actually what you get is significant and leapfrogging on top of the total cost of ownership and capability to introduce new services, to support new services, to a total life cycle of the service and so forth. Because at the moment, if you just compare, as was mentioned before, light use cases versus light use cases, yes, it could be more expensive to have it with wireless in some scenarios. But if you think about the whole building management system, how it gets data from the sensors, if you talk about the whole industrial asset tracking and condition-based monitoring support, then it becomes a completely different total cost of ownership and comparison between what you can get with wire and what you can get with wireless. And this type of adaptation of this mindset in the industry, and I believe we as a lighting industry can drive the customer mindset into considering that, would be the change of mindset that would stop just a simple comparison of bill of materials, A versus B, but to move into solution and problem resolution with the best total cost of ownership.
Yeah, I definitely buy this perspective, and I really like it. It's about creating the virtuous circle, about generating more value, therefore generating higher scale, therefore the cost is more a consequence than built in. But of course, the ingredients for cost reduction are also there today. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Very interesting discussion. I think next subject is about the ecosystem and openness. And of course, this is also one of the ingredients of allowing the adoption. So probably a question to you, Kevin. How do you see yourselves collaborating with other companies in the lighting ecosystem to win through lighting systems?
Well, I think what we have to be is adaptive and flexible. I think the days of trying to force your product range onto a customer and not listening. I've got this philosophy: we've got two ears and one mouth, and we should use them in the same proportion. So we should listen to the customer, and I think the collaboration side of it is being open, understanding the skill sets that we have as individual companies, and really nurturing our own skill sets and embracing the others. That's why I think it's personally worked very well for us. We are good at design, we are good at manufacture, we are not good at software or any API. So, and also from the market penetration point of view, we need the likes of Helvar, who've got the big customer base, we've got Ingy, who's got the software, we've got Signify, who we're working with as well, who give us the ideas. And you've got to be open to criticism, I think, and you've got to take it on board and adapt. And that, I think, hopefully Bastian will bear that out as what we do. You say what we do and do what we do.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Yeah, Bastian, I think you've been collaborating with many companies to launch your product. Maybe if you can share your experience there.
So I think there is, first of all, you need to really see the smart lighting market in two markets. There's two different markets at play, and you should really take them apart, right? So you have the lighting control market, where you're really competing against DALI and even competing against standalone sensors with no connectivity at all. And that, that is really a cost-driven market. And then the other side is the beyond lighting market, which is really a feature-driven market, and they really interact, right? You need both markets, but you really have to be careful to take insights from one market to the other, right? They're completely different beats with very different rules. But we see in both that collaboration and ecosystem approach is extremely important. So we have built our system to be an ecosystem player from the start. We said from the start we will only do software. We only will develop software on board to be integrated. We will never develop hardware, and we stick to that. To not be able to ever be challenged to be competing with our customers, and that has been essential. and then the speed to market that we have been able to achieve by taking that approach. Although it's sometimes harder because you need for every step to find a partner and convince them of your vision and co-invest with you. You know, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, bring a team, right? And that's really what we see here at play. We could have, by cooperating with Danlers, we had immediately access to a wide range of sensors, high base, low base, IP67, compatible with Helvar, compatible with Signify SR drivers. By collaborating with Helvar, we immediately had access to a huge range of drivers. If all of that we would have developed in-house, we would have just developed one driver, one sensor. It would have never
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, Bastian. So, Tuomo, would you like to give your perspective on this, and then we will move to the next subject right after.
Yeah, I think that the Bastian and Kevin said it quite well already. So it would be simply impossible for a company of our size, for example, or the business unit where we are doing the LED drivers to try to do everything by ourselves. And we are like really active to find collaboration partners. And we are really good on making LED drivers and those components and the hardware parts. And then we really want to stick on that. And we really see that we can compete on that area. And this way, when we do extremely really high quality and competitive drivers, then eventually that will help companies like Ingy and other system developers to get their systems out. That will bring volume for us, and that is beneficial for everybody. And it really would be impossible to cover everything by ourselves.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. So I think we still have 5 minutes in this discussion, and I would like to really focus discussion more on what happens beyond lighting. So beyond pure lighting control, what are the services? What are the enablers for the services, and how you see? What do you think will boost adoption of, for example, smart spaces applications and services in general? What I'm calling smart spaces can encompass tracking or whatever services you see developing. Peter, would you like to start on the subject?
Oh, certainly. I think I already indicated my interest for the Wirepas event here. Is that, you have an item and you want to find it, right? And lighting could play a role there if you have a proper network. And definitely, as also Michael mentioned, that could give this spiral of more and more applications going on your lighting and generating more value, right? I see that as the most dominant use case beyond lighting that pulls us into the market with connectivity. Other perhaps that I didn't mention yet is that, okay, if you look to office lighting, people will return to offices here in Europe pretty soon. I'm still home-based, but eventually, hopefully, we will go back to office. And this IoT infrastructure that an office may have deployed in the lighting infrastructure might help you return safely to office from the COVID crisis, right? So there could be avenues of generating more value, very much along the spiral that Michael explained, that once you have that infrastructure and you're open with perhaps standardized interfaces, you will even see more applications coming to you.
Thanks very much, Peter. Very interesting. Michael, I think you've already expressed yourself on generating value and higher revenues, of course, from this type of services. But what are the triggers? How do we move from where we are today to a situation where services are more widely available and deployable? What are the ingredients there?
Actually, this is a chance, I guess, for me to confirm and to actually, confirm my personal satisfaction with the comment that was stated before by the speakers, especially on the topic of interoperability and talking to each other in an open ecosystem and embracing the others and focusing what each company is good at. Because it's quite clear that if one entity tries to do it all, it's very difficult to succeed, to be best in everything. So I think to have focus on drivers and to have focus on software and focus on delivering on different variants of hardware is a great enabler, because specialization would mean that everybody could focus on what the company delivers the best competitive advantage and differentiator, and allowing for the ecosystem to thrive. But of course, the glue that puts the ecosystem together is this interoperability. So the story is that we as a light industry probably do not know all the use cases that a business expert or consultant would know how to solve a customer problem. I guess we don't have a system integrator now on the floor. But the story is that if we enable the infrastructure to deliver a simple and workable web service to the actual system integrator, they will know best how to use the data and to create the most valuable customer insight and customer solution. So instead of just trying to create everything in-house, interoperability, and focusing on each other's competencies and best expertise, that is the actual catalyst that will drive the use cases forward. And then, I mean, looking at other industries that you've seen before, especially in the low power wide area network, then it will enable resilient use cases. Then we don't talk about tens of use cases, we talk about hundreds of use cases which are enabled, and about delivering value in multiple areas that we cannot even think about now. Example was what I mentioned about the COVID situation. Definitely value there.
Thank you very much, Michael. This is really very much aligned with what we are all around this table trying to achieve, is really to make sure that we glue together the best systems to deliver a full solution. Bastian, would you like to take the next 30 seconds that we have left?
Yes, I think if you go back to your question, I think I would agree with Peter that we see that asset tracking is really a standout application as launching application. But secondly, and I think that's in line also with Peter, is the usage of, I would almost say the application to reduce the cost of connectivity of a wide range of sensors inside the building through the Wirepas mesh created by the lights.